Hi everyone, I'm Natalia. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a video titled Self-Care Bundle. And if you would like to do a video response to this, please I'd be very, very happy to see what your self-care bundle is like. And I really encourage to either do VR or just to think about what your self-care bundle looks like, whether you're gonna do a VR or not, obviously. The reason being is because self-care is such an important subject. Self-care, I feel, is sometimes gets really minimized to certain activities, and I'll talk more about that. And I think that sometimes we don't really ask ourselves what self-care really means to us. And all of these tools, tarot and oracle cards, journaling books, are absolutely amazing part of our self-care kit. So to start off this video, I would like to start it by talking about self-care. As I mentioned, I feel that self-care can be really diluted to you got to eat well, you got to exercise, you got to minimize social media, you got to take a hot bath to relax, you got to meditate. And while all of those are aspects of self-care, to put it in a nutshell, self-care really is taking care of your mental and physical well-being. For me, over the course of my relationship to my self-care, some of those things that would be considered to be self-care for a lot of people, eating well, exercising, minimizing social media, taking a hot bath, meditation, spending time in solitude. To me, they are really no longer self-care. To me, they are now part of my lifestyle. They maybe did start out as part of self-care, but they got to the point where now they are just kind of given. They're just part of my lifestyle. The same way as getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep is non-negotiable. It's just part of my lifestyle. I don't even consider it part of a self-care any longer. And if you do, that's totally, totally fine. But then there are an elements in my life that I definitely consider self-care. And in different aspects of my life, self-care looks very different to me. And for some aspects of my life, depending on the self-care, I will have its own self-care bundles. Since this is a tarot channel, I will be sharing with you today what my meaning of self-care, in at least in one area of my life, has evolved into, and what is my personal self-care tarot and oracle and books bundle looks like. This is why I thought it would be such a fantastic VR for people to engage in, because no two self-cares are going to look alike. This is also why I will be sharing with you tarot and oracle cards and some books that are helping me in connection to how I see and understand my self-care versus generally showing tarot and oracle cards for generalized self-care. And I really encourage all of you, again, whether you're going to be VR or not, doesn't matter, but I really encourage all of you to ask yourself, what is self-care means to me? When I say self-care, which part of myself do I need to care for right now? How do I care for these parts of myself? Most importantly, what are the flags for me to spot when I am neglecting to care for those parts of myself? And only by asking ourselves those questions can we figure out what tools we're going to need. Some people, when they think about self-care, tarot decks, sometimes I feel people can jump immediately to decks that are, huggable, loving, love and light decks that are very positive, very warm, very gentle. That's all fine to jump to thinking about those decks. But again, I want to take it a step further and encourage all of you to ask yourself, what is self-care really is to you? And as you already have heard, for me at this point in my life, things that might be it for you, it might be taking a time in the morning to meditate is essential self-care. To me, it's now part of my lifestyle where it's not even part of my self-care, it's just a given. So you see how already everybody's going to be wildly different in regards to what it means to them. When I think about self-care at this point in my life, I think about um, I think about moments in my life when I'm not in alignment with my intentions, when I'm not in alignment with my truth, when I'm not in alignment with my um, direction, when I'm not in alignment with my will, when I'm not in alignment with my authenticity. For me, it has a lot to do with whether I'm living my life as closely in connection and resonance to my, I would say, my blueprint essence. And I believe, this is my belief, I believe we all have a blueprint essence. I believe we all have things we're meant to do here on this planet. I believe that there's certain things we're really, really good at. There's some things we're really, really bad at for that reason. And so when I'm in alignment with that, that's to me self-care. And when I'm in alignment with that, it means that then my boundaries, especially my boundaries, um, can also be clearly defined, clearly understood within my personal life and within my professional life and within myself. That's to me self-care at this point in my life. I know that my red flags are when I'm feeling daily on a daily basis, when I'm feeling bored and having like this lethargic, I don't know what to do. I'm so bored with everything. I know that I need to get attuned with my self-care in that regard to my inner compass, because I know that there's so many things that I want to do and accomplish. So there's no way I should be feeling bored. So when I am feeling that way, I know that something is not in alignment, that I have strayed off my course. When I am engaging in anything, when I, for example, let's say I sat down to create a video content for any aspects of my life, this tarot aspect of my life, or the psychology aspect where I'm a psychologist. And as I record a video, let's say I'm feeling, yeah, this doesn't feel like me. I feel like I'm talking about stuff that I'm just kind of like doing it just for the sake of doing it. That's to me a red flag. This is also why you won't see frequency of videos coming out here with a set um, schedule, and not that there's anything wrong with the schedule, because for me personally, this channel is very connected to a desire to talk about things I truly genuinely interested in talking about. And I would rather have weeks or months go by without creating videos than just to put out video just for the sake of putting it out. That just, because this is how I'm aligned with this content. Again, nothing wrong if people are trying to build their subscription base on their channel and they want to maintain that consistency for those reasons or for any other reasons. Let's say they just want to be very consistent with their content. Nothing wrong with doing that. For me, again, I have to figure out what's the intention here. And my intention with this channel, as always, is to bridge the gap for individuals who are like me, who already have a tarot collection, no matter how large or small, and want to find a more creative, interesting way to use those tools. So when I think about content, I try to think about it from that angle. So that's another red flag for me. For me, another red flag is when I start to neglect my voice, my ability to vocalize my wants and needs. When I feel myself drawing back and getting timid, I know that I'm in need of practicing self-care. So you already can probably tell by me talking about my relationship to my self-care that you already may be watching this and listening to this and thinking about your relationship to self-care, and probably already having your own ideas, your own notions about what self-care means to you. We're all different. I am incredibly fortunate to have a lot of time to myself. I don't have kids by choice because I do not want to have children. Nothing wrong with wanting them, but nothing wrong with not having children either. And I have all that extra time to myself. I'm also very, very fortunate, very blessed not to have any kind of physical conditions that make my life challenging, difficult, debilitating. I'm very fortunate. I don't have any mental health conditions that also make my life very challenging, very difficult. I'm very fortunate. I can go on and on and on. We're all different. The point I'm trying to say is that I know some people that are living with chronic pain, for example. For them, self-care is going to be it's a very important component, a very essential is going to be how to manage that particular day, right? How to find a way to mitigate that pain. So again, it's really going to revolve around your circumstances and your life. And my self-care revolves around my circumstances and my life. And primarily lately, it has been revolving about my authentic self, and me stepping into my own, stepping more and more and showing up more and more in my own true essence, showing up more and more, more in alignment. And for me, what that means is caring way, way less what anybody thinks, not worrying about any kind of validation or appraisal from external environment, not worrying about whether anybody's going to like a content I produce or not worrying about what people are going to think. It's just really genuinely doing things and talking about things I'm truly passionate and excited to share. And that has been really important to me. So lately, my attunement has been to myself, to how to be and not only the most authentic, but I've also been working very hard how to be a better version of myself too, how to be less judgmental, how to be more mindful with the language I use, how to be more mindful when I talk about things, how to be more mindful to the realities that we are all different. That has been very, very essential. So you will see that in my self-care bundle on Tarot and Oracle and books, it's going to reflect that. And I bet that if I were telling you that lately my self-care was revolving around, I'm just maybe coming out from, let's say, God forbid, let's say I had a relationship fallout with my husband, my self-care tools would look very different, and the decks would reflect that which I need at the moment. So because right now I'm revolving around again my own standing in my own lane, right? Carving out my path and owning my path unapologetically and standing in it and being very, very true to myself. When my self-care wavers, some of the decks that I pull for, and this is my self-care bundle, I seldom pull for this one. And it's not because it is kind of upfront and honest and direct and can be to the point harsh deck, but I don't pull this because I'm looking for something more. And because my self-care needs right now revolve around my womanhood, my life as a woman, my voice as a woman, my essence as a woman. I don't know where to put this deck. I have a candle burning here. I don't want to burn it. My my ability to roar, to speak up, to just all those essences around womanhood. This is not the deck that I lean for because to me it's such an energetic balance of masculine and feminine. Not that I'm trying to disregard masculine because one needs to have a balance of two. But the decks that I will show you the decks that I tend to lean toward, and then I will show you the decks that have been new that I have been leaning on. One of the decks that I pull for my self-care is this Magic of You Oracle by Fiona Horn, because every time I pull this oracle, it minus that screen. It helps me how to be more attuned to myself. It helps me to embrace the power of me. Just the title of this oracle, Magic of You Oracle. It helps me to reconnect to my own sparks. So when I wear off and when I start feeling like I'm getting sucked into a comparison game within myself, when I'm starting to feel like I'm getting sucked into any kind of imposter feelings, or when any insecurities start to come up, this is the oracle that I pull for. This really has become an essential staple in my self-care bundle. I'm looking around, guys, and it is going to be no coincidence that all of my self-care tools, except for one, are created by women. I think that would make sense. I just dropped the lighter. The next one that I lean for is Alana Fairchild decks, primarily Isis Oracle, which we all know. This one I especially pull when I need to stand and wavering off from my sovereignty. That I waver off from my sense of sovereignty. This is the one when I'm going through a very difficult time in my past, and I feel that I need that the strength of Isis to lean on, to believe in my rootness, to believe in my strengths, and to hold on to it. So would be the times when I will pull on this one in my womanhood journey of self-care. Next one from Alana Fairchild is going to be Isis Kali Oracle. This one is when in my past I run into moments that feel like moments that feel like upheavals, that feel like tower that either has come down or towers that I can feel inside of me about to crumble. I will reach down for Kali Oracle because to me, she's a very tender, loving mama of that womanhood for me. She's the one that teaches me to be okay with very, very big and drastic changes in my life. And she's the one that teaches me that those changes are happening for you, not to you. So this would be Kali Oracle. Again, you're starting to see a theme in my self-care bundle, and I guarantee you your self-care bundle will have its own theme. And this is my self-care bundle now. 6 months or even 3 months from today, I may need a different type of self-care. My self-care needs are ever changing, and therefore my self-care bundle will also change. So that's another important thing. Sacred Travels. This one, wow, I'm shocked. I have not edged this one, guys. You know, me, chronic edger. This one I pull when I feel like I'm starting to get disconnected from myself. Like I'm starting to not trust that inner voice. I'm starting to feel lost. I'm starting to feel like I have lost my compass. I will pull for Circuit Rebels to help me get back onto the course. I know that this one is loved by many. So this is a tree Alana Fairchild for sure that I will lean forward on. The one that is not by a woman is Ian Daniels' Terror Vampires. Now, as many of you know, this is while I love the artwork in this deck, I struggle with it because vampires are so not my cup of tea. It doesn't, not interested, zero interest in vampire lore. I edged and read mine, but this one is such a tremendously strong Lilith energy. And because it's such a strong feminine empowerment energy, this is the one that I will pull forward, lean on when I really need to acknowledge my fire, really need to acknowledge my throat chakra, really need to roar and not be afraid. This is a completely fearless especially in the moments when I'm about to do something really big in my life, step into something really big in my life, and I feel the little tendency of trepidation or lack of courage. I know that it's time for this type of self-care to pull this deck and to help the fire, very strong fire energy in this deck to lend it to me to get through those times. The rest of the decks are fairly new to me and have they quickly become part of the self-care bundles that I'm talking about here today. Oh my God, I'd be so curious if any of you would love to do VR. I'm so curious to see because I think self-care bundles are amazing, and I think it would be fascinating to see what yours are. This is, let me pull. Oh my God. Oh, duh, it's right here on my desk. Wild Wings, no, Wild Wings, Wild Things Oracle. This has quickly become part of my self-care bundle arsenal. You heard me talk about this deck. You heard me talk about how this deck is very emotionally attuned. It is very watery deck for me. It treats my emotions like it's superb at reading my emotions. What's more fascinating about this deck is that it doesn't just read my emotions. It reads emotions I don't want to acknowledge to myself. This is what I love about it. It's almost had the shadowy part to it where it encourages you to really confront things you feel and you really do not want to think about. And while it looks like Huggabee cutie pie creatures, that to me it's not. It's a very mature, not joking around, very serious and incredibly attuned watery deck. It has become part of my self-care bundle arsenal, and I cannot imagine living without it. Another one that you saw me brag about and loving, and in my own way complaining about the artwork. Look, artwork is beautiful. Okay, there's nothing zero wrong with artwork. Aesthetically, just not my style. Let me be very clear about that. This is self-care oracle deck. You don't get a guidebook. You get message in the back, an image in the front. Somebody just recently today on Instagram asked me about this one because she said that she also doesn't really care for the artwork. It's not her thing, but she just, thinks this is going to be really good and what she needs right now. It's just really good. So like, look at this one, time, right? The message on the back is time spent worrying is time spent. The messages here are so contemplative. They make you pause and think. They're not just self-care. This is not just self-care oracle that tells you this is time to take hot baths. It puts things in perspective. So this one says priorities, right? And on the back it says, the quality of your life is determined by how you spend your time. Make sure your schedule reflects the life you want. But to me, I think that's really, really good. I've been loving this one. It also has things like this one, energy, and I love it in the back. It says, stop trying to please everyone. Everyone is a whole lot of people. Protect your energy. It's very action oriented and it's very focused on your sense of self, your sense of just it's almost teaches you to stop being so worried about everybody else or anything else and really center and focus on yourself. And I've been absolutely loving this one. So this is self-care oracle. Now, the new decks that has been to me that also became very quick part of my self-care bundle is my favorite modification job too, Guardians of the Night, Air deck by M. Chell Coonan. This is helps me through utilizing animal spirit energy to tap into those primal, instinctual, animalistic parts of myself as a woman on my journey on this path of authenticity and femininity that I'm on right now, and through which I am talking and reflecting on my own self-care. This immediately was a deck that I connected with. This energy was immediately something that I just felt a very strong vibration and comfort in. And it is, I thought that animal decks are like very huggy, very sweet. It's animals, right? They're so sweet and cute. No, this deck is not sweet and cute. This deck is not vicious. This deck is life. It will show you some difficult, painful things about life. It will tell you some really challenging things about life that reflected in a truth. I'm trying to find Six of Pentacles. There's Six of Pentacles, is each depicted by an ox. And this beautiful purplish ox that has a tick, not a tick, it has like, I forgot what is that insect called. On top of the ox here, it has a bird, not even an insect. So it's this ox, and by the way, I love how she does some the scale of large and small, plan scale, large and small. But you see this, there's a bird on top of ox. So the ox and the bird have a working contractual relationship of give and take, just like Six of Pentacles, right? The ox will allow the bird to, be on top of him, and by being on top of it, the bird will eat the ticks of the ox, so the ox also benefits from it. It's like beneficial relationship. But the bird got to the point where got a little carried away, and you see there's a wound on ox's head, and it's now starting to slowly feed off of the ox. So now it's no longer an equal and fair contribution. So this deck will show you these elements that are so sad and confrontational, but also a sad truth and reality of this life. And that's what I love about it. And part of my journey of my path of my womanhood is also confronting those parts that are dark and scary, but you know what? They're also part of reality. So these are guardians of the night. Two more, and then we'll get to books. I don't have that many books to share because I'll be sharing like recent reads that are part of the self-care bundle. This deck was shown to me by Kasia, my wonderful friend Kasia. And when she showed it to me when we were privately talking, I said, I did one of those, heck no. Because again, the art in this deck mimics the art in self-care deck. It's this type of art style. It's just not my thing. Art to me is very important with territory. But I got it because Kasia, she was so, you have got to, you don't understand. So I said, okay. And you probably have seen me share this deck for you guys on my vlog. I did get it. And I got it, and I wasn't sure. I had one of those, I don't know. And what I quickly realized is that in the midst of this, I don't know, there was something about this deck that was very strongly saying, I need to stay. I strongly felt, like I very strongly energetically felt that the deck was saying, you need me to stay. You may not see why, but trust me, you need me to stay. The wording here is brilliant, by the way. And so I thought, okay, stay. And I tried to read with her, but it just would not budge. It would not budge until last week, or even week before last week, I had some red flags fly up in regards to my self-care, to my truth, my authenticity, my femininity, my womanhood, all of the things that revolve around it. And excuse me, when I thought about decks to reach for, it was immediately her. She read me like a book. She read me like a book, and it was not in a gentle way. And it was not in a hard way. It was in a way of, I know I have been there before. I know exactly where you're at because I have been there. It's one of those things when a dog gently holds you and says, I hear you, I hear you. It's another thing when dog challenges you and points things at you. Oh, you gotta look at this. You have got to look at this. And there's a difference when the dog does combination. It holds you, it challenges you, and it does all of that because it clearly shows you, I've been there. If any of you have been through difficult changes in your life and met people who've been through similar thing, you know what I'm talking about. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same experience. Let me give you an example. I had cancer when I was 16. When I meet other people who had cancer and who gone through chemotherapy, we have this almost look in our eyes, this nod, like, I got you. Experiences are wildly different, could be completely different type of cancer, different amount of chemos. But there's something about going through similar paths in life that also immediately gets it to you like, I got you. In the trans community, I work with trans people have the same experiences when they look at other gender diverse people and they're like, yeah, I got you. This is what the dad did for me. With the things that I was struggling with, it got me. It became very, very endearing for me. And I started to look up Amanda Lovelace. And I started to look up Amanda Lovelace. And first of all, I found out that Amanda has an oracle out, which I got. And since I got this oracle, it has been also part of this bundle, inseparable part of this bundle. I etched mine pink. Again, artwork, as you can see, is the same artist who did the Cozy Witch. Again, not my cup of tea. I don't even care. This oracle is incredibly empowering to any woman. It is meant for women. It is made by a woman with a strong, with a strong history of going through a lot of shit. I felt it in the stacks that Amanda must have had gone through something very challenging in her life. I didn't know what it was, but I felt it. So I started looking up Amanda, and I didn't realize she is a wonderful poet. She's a wonderful author. And actually, she wrote, a lot of poetry. This is one of the trilogy of the books from the sequence that has a wonderful title. It has Women Are Some Kind of Magic series. And I've seen a friend on Instagram, Claudia from Canada, point this one out because there's a poem here about red lipstick, and she tagged me in it. And I was like, what is this poetry? Well, this was Amanda's stuff. I was already recognizing the breadcrumbs. I want to find that red lipstick for all of us. It's very brief. Red lipstick, an external sign of internal fire. We tried to warn you. Red lipstick, battle cry, battle cry, battle cry. We tried to warn you, part 2. So I got these books yesterday. I read them all 3 in one sitting. It doesn't take long, to read them. It's poetry spaced out, but I couldn't put them down. Out of all the 3, the witch doesn't burn in this one is the one that I connected the most, that had the most resonance to the self-care that I need. Now I'm talking about book self-care bundles. This is part of my self-care bundle for this particular self-care I'm talking about, the Womanhood bundle. The second favorite was The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one was my least favorite, to be honest, just for me. You don't have to buy them in bundle, you can buy them individually. But this is the one that is going to be reread when I need self-care. the books that I need when I go as part of my self-care bundle, at least on this particular self-care in connection to womanhood, are the books that put me back in a seat of empowerment, of my story, of my narrative, of my connection and relationship to myself. Lucy Peirce, my beloved Burning Woman. I adore this book. I have reread this book twice. Is part of that self-care bundle. If my self-care wavers in regards to my womanhood, I lean and reach for books that have to do with um, women stepping into their femininity, their powers, their authority, uh, finding a way um, to work through and heal through toxic patriarchy so many of us have endured. Those are the books I lean on. And by reading Amanda's poetry books, I have learned a lot about Amanda because this particular series are quite autobiographical. And if you're thinking about buying it, trigger warning, there is, and she does, in the beginning, she gives the trigger warning, but each one of her books comes with quite a bit of trigger warnings. For example, trigger warning, this book contains sensitive material relating to child abuse, intimate partner abuse, bullying, sexual assault, self-harm, eating disorders, queer phobia, menstruation, alcoholism, racism, trauma, death, suicide, grief, cancer, fire, and possibly more. Um, so keep that in mind. Reading her books, do I understand Amanda or what her life has been like? Of course not. But I'm ever more closer to this because I understand how this that creates not like a love and fuzzy, but this is a female energy that has been through shit, through incredibly painful stuff, and survived. Is she unscarred? Is she completely healed? Who knows? Probably not. Is she ever going to be? I don't know. But she has seen so much, and it's so reflected in the stack, and it's so reflected in the oracle as well. This was difficult to read, guys. For me, I told David, I said, a lot of times, I don't realize how incredibly fortunate I am not to have history of sexual abuse and trauma as a child, not to have history of eating disorders, not to have history of physical, emotional, psychological neglect and abuse by caregivers. I'm so incredibly, incredibly blessed. Of course, as a woman, I have had a lot of experiences of boundaries, sometimes even atrocious boundary transgressions. But I was fortunate enough uh, to have parts of me that were able to stand up and speak up for myself in those instances. So it's my heart goes out to anybody who has to Amanda and to anybody who's experienced those things because it's I have no words for it. I'm not even going to say it must be very difficult. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just I cannot fathom. I cannot fathom others than feel tremendous amount of pain from reading these books. And it puts some things for me also in perspective. But this one in my self-care bundle is going to be forever cherished one. It was just so, I think every woman should read this book. I really do. And Burning Woman by Lisa Peirce. So this is a very important part of my self-care arsenal bundle right now with this self-care. I really encourage all of you to ask yourself, what does self-care mean to me? What does my self-care mean to me right now? What domain, where in my life right now do I need self-care? In what particular essence of my life? And why? What are the red flags? And from that, see if you can put together what is your self-care bundle then for this particular aspect of your life looks like. what kind of books you lean on, what kind of tarot and oracle cards you lean on, what other things you may lean on. This is what I lean on. I also lean on strong feminine voices in music industry. You know that Miley Cyrus song, I Can Buy Myself Flowers. That's one of the things that I lean on. Um, um, oh my God, what is her name? Singer with fantastic Adele's, her classic "We Could Have Had It All" song, because it's such a powerful, you know, breakup song. You don't need to go through breakup to feel that power. It's a power of a woman, of a girl, of a woman stepping into her own, um, and owning who she is. So, anyways, I'm right now still in a reverie because the poetry I read yesterday, and so it was heavy. It was heavy. And sometimes we need to read heavy things. So as you can see, part of my self-care book bundle is actually reading books that are heavy, to get even more in touch with those parts of myself. It's not about escaping how I feel. It's about leaning even more into how I feel. That's very essential for my self-care, leaning in versus withdrawing. I learned that I have to confront those things. I have to confront those difficult, challenging things within myself head on versus pulling away from them. Because it's through the confrontation and the tension, no matter how difficult, that I blossom and grow. So, thank you for watching. Again, if you want to do VR, hashtag will be self-care bundle. Would love to hear what you come up with. And if you don't want to do VR, that is totally, of course, if, feel free to, if you feel comfortable, share below what is your self-care bundle and how, most importantly, you see self-care, because again, it's so individualistic. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time. Bye.